The first tool, the first piece of equipment that we are bringing on our adventure is our knowledge, or what we as best know is our knowledge, what we best believe is our knowledge. And in particular, it's the paradigm of the polyvagal theory and these, different pieces of somatic-based ideas of what it means to be in our mind or our body, to have consciousness. So we have the paradigm of the polyvagal theory, which is the general understanding of the science of what it means to be human or to be a mammal. It's how we respond to safety, how we respond to danger. If you don't know what the polyvagal theory is, you're going to have to go back to episode 101, start there, and catch up, basically. That's the general larger paradigm of how we can view the world, or at least view ourselves and our interactions, how we view change through the polyvagal ladder, all these different pieces of the polyvagal theory in general. But when we apply it to ourselves, that can give us a new narrative. And a new narrative is the second piece, the second tool, or a piece of equipment of what it means to be a Stucknaut, of what we're bringing on our adventure inward. We're going to apply the paradigm of the polyvagal theory to ourselves as individuals and create a new narrative of what it means to be us, of what it means to be us and how we got to where we are, how we feel the way we feel. The polyvagal theory is going to bring a new lens rather than one of judgment and I'm born defective and I suck and I'm broken or I'm going to be like this forever. No. Polyvagal theory teaches us that change is definitely possible and there's a roadmap for it. It's a polyvagal ladder. But now we know there's the different states that we have to go to survive certain things or to survive many things. But also day to day, we access these different bodily states throughout the day. And that's okay, that's normal. But we also know through the lens of the polyvagal theory that when we apply it to ourselves, we know that we might just be stuck in a defensive state. Stuck, not broken. When we take this paradigm of the polyvagal theory and apply it to ourselves, we're going to be left with this new story of who we are and how we are, and that's going to reduce, it should reduce, the amount of judgment that we have toward ourselves. Hopefully we're at a level of judgment of zero. Hopefully our level of judgment is at zero. That'd be ideal. It might not be the case for you. But when we have this new narrative, it might help to soften or reduce the amount of judgment you have toward yourself. I hear from people pretty often that they do get to like a significantly reduced amount of judgment because it's just biology. It's just evolution. It's just being human and being stuck, and that's it. Judgment is an obstacle to the adventure of a Stucknaut. It also might be something that we have to kind of explore and examine, maybe. But if we can just have a new understanding of the world and of ourselves, that can help to reduce, soften, eliminate judgment altogether, because judgment is an obstacle. If we can reduce the judgment or just soften it, that can lead to more room, more capacity for you to have more curiosity. And that's going to be a very good thing. When you go on this adventure, this internal adventure, and you're exploring your internal world, you have to be curious about that. It's easy to be evaluative. It's easy to be judgmental. Not that we want to, but we just do that. From a defensive state, that's kind of what we do. So if we have curiosity, that's going to be a really big advantage to our adventure in the internal world. But also the our interpersonal world and our environment, of course. But particularly when it comes to the adventure of a Stucknaut, we're looking at the internal world. So if we have more room for curiosity, then when we look at the internal world, then there's going to be less defensiveness, I think. And that means that when we look to the internal world and we find some of that stuck defensiveness, that we're going to have some space for curiosity. We're going to have some space to allow it to discharge or to return, some energy to return maybe. And we're less likely to react out of defensiveness. And then we're less likely to defensively reinforce that stuck defensive energy in the first place. That stuck sympathetic state or shutdown state or freeze. So having curiosity and softening that judgment is going to be a very, very good thing. Very good piece of equipment for us. The other piece of equipment is yourself, your body, yourself as an individual, your individual curiosity, but you in particular, it's you. Your individual capacity to self-regulate, because you can, it is there. You might be stuck in a defensive state, but there is some potential to develop your self-regulation. And to do so, we have to build the strength of our vagal brake, which is the influence of our safety system on the heart, just kind of keeping it at a calmer pace. So it's possible to develop that. So our individual capacity to self-regulate, that's a tool. And if we can have a stronger ability to self-regulate by exercising those safety pathways, that's going to be a really big advantage to our internal exploration. Another tool we might be able to use is having healthy boundaries. And this could be offerings of co-regulation to other Stucknauts or accepting it from others as well in your life. Hopefully you have people in your life that can passively offer co-regulation, just their own safety cues, and that you can accept that, hopefully. But we do so while also realizing that we need to take ownership over our own Stucknaut adventure, that when we explore the internal world, it's on us. So we have to take ownership over that while also accepting co-regulation from others and maybe even offering it to others, which would be nice, right? But I think the realization and the acceptance that we have to do our own work, as some call it, that's a piece of equipment that we need to have. Taking responsibility for our stuck state, even if it is blatantly someone else's fault, ultimately it's up to us, right? It just is. And I don't know another way around that. It just is. So accepting that and realizing that, owning that, that's a big advantage to getting unstuck and doing that internal exploration. We can gather resources from others. People can be of help to us, whether it's through co-regulation, that offering their own safety, or maybe they have knowledge that we don't have, or an actual, community resource. Like, that's all well and good. Absolutely. We can hire a therapist or a coach or whoever. We can talk to our friends and get support. Absolutely. We can do all those things while also accepting and owning that, like, this is up to me to make the change that I want to see in my life.